You're probably still puzzled by the Atlanta Falcons. I am. But here's a take you probably haven't heard. You know who should be upset more than Kirk Cousins, and that's Michael Penix Jr. Because if I'm Michael Penix Jr., and I've been told, and my source said he's the most pro-ready quarterback, he's got to wait 3 years. If all goes well with Kirk Cousins, because it's not like you go, hey, Kirk, not working, where you still have to pay you $100 million. So the philosophy there of we had to get him and we're building on the future. Okay. I get it when you draft somebody and you have them sit. Or, hey, we got our insurance policy right away. I like the Jalen Hurts draft pick because it was a second-round draft pick. Jordan Love, I wouldn't have taken him, but it has worked out because I would have still tried to reload one more time with Aaron Rodgers. There are quarterbacks that are taken, they sit, then they benefit. I get all of that. It still just doesn't make any sense. If you're all in this year, then be all in. Like Rome Odunze, who goes to the Bears, the next pick, you could have taken him. Can you have enough explosive players? Wide receiver? I mean, if you're not going to take an edge rusher, and they should have traded down to take an edge rusher and maybe gotten a little bit more, but this is a division you're supposed to win. It's not just winning the division that's the goal. It's how far do you want to go in the postseason. But if I'm Michael Penix Jr., I've been told I'm ready to play. All these other quarterbacks are going to play before me. If he goes to the Raiders, he's probably starting. Raiders were trying to trade up. A couple of teams were trying. Seattle was reportedly trying to trade up. Now, he wasn't going to start right away there, but that might be 1 year, and then he's ready to go. And he stays in Washington. But Atlanta, I just wouldn't have brought in Kirk Cousins. If this is your philosophy and you say, we got our guy, nobody's going to be trading up and get in front of us for Michael Penix. If he's ready to play, which at age 24, he's ready to play, I've been told. Why am I going to bring in Kirk Cousins? At what point did you fall in love with Michael Penix Jr.? At what point did you fall in love with Kirk Cousins? And if you're building for the future, I don't bring in Kirk Cousins now. I want the rookie contract. And look, he could turn out to be, Kenny Stabler. But I got to wait 3 years for this. Because if I'm rooting for something to happen, I want Kirk Cousins to play well because I'm paying him a guaranteed $100 million. I wouldn't brought in a guy coming off Achilles surgery. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, I know that there have been analysts who said, makes sense. Got to get this guy. He's the future. Okay, the future is now in the NFL. Just ask the Buffalo Bills. Wait, what happened here? We might be saying the same thing about the Bengals. Hey, wait a minute, what happened? We might say the same thing about the Cowboys. It's, what are you doing right now? Kansas City didn't go, you know what? We need to draft somebody down the road. Travis Kelce plays one more year, perhaps. They went out and got a tight end. I get that. They got the fastest guy in the draft who helps them right now. Patrick Mahomes doesn't go, you know what? Why don't we get some guys for down the road? It's about now. If you can win now, if you're that close, that's what I would do. And I don't think Atlanta did that. We've seen these teams take advantage of a subpar division, and then all of a sudden you can go far in the playoffs, maybe get a win or two. And it's a winnable division. That's what I didn't understand. Trade down, get a defensive player or two. This is a team that John Abraham's probably the last guy who was a great sack guy for the Falcons. They don't put any pressure on the quarterback. Now, they do have weapons, and I do think they're one of those, oh, wow, that team is coming. Like, I felt the Lions, I was a year early on the Lions, but I thought, okay, they're coming. The Falcons feel like that. But, you missed the playoffs by a couple of games last year in Atlanta. You're always picking eighth. What is this, the fourth consecutive year you've picked eighth? Didn't understand the logic. Yes, Paulie.
And Dan, the NFC South does not have a superstar quarterback you have to get past. Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, and Bryce Young. That, like you said, it's more than winnable with Kirk Cousins, if Kirk Cousins plays average, he's the best quarterback in the division. Average for him.
Yeah. Yes, Marv.
In order for the Falcons GM to keep his job, do they have to win the division either this year or next year? Like to keep his job.
I don't know what Arthur Blank would do. I don't know if – I mean, they just brought in Raheem Morris. I don't know if they go, man, you better win it this year.
Well, the fact that they
you're telling everybody you got to be patient with Michael Penix. I don't know if management can go, hey, we're not going to be patient. We're going to fire you.
I think the fact that they had to explain to Arthur Blank what they were doing, sure, like, all right, I mean, I guess, but this better work.
Oh, that would have been my reaction. Although if I'd have been an owner, I'd been like, wait a minute. Weren't you guys in love with Kirk Cousins? Weren't you the same guys who said, hey, after dinner, man, we got to go get him? What a great guy, team guy. I get it. Because that would have been my first question. Wait, you guys are the same guys who co-signed on Kirk Cousins coming in here? Yes, Todd.
And I found what Russ Tucker told us Friday very interesting about it. It was a selfish move, and they were doing that to buy themselves a couple extra years to see how things go with Cousins, and they still have Penix in their back pocket so they could all keep their jobs a few more years.
I like Penix. I do. I like him. I wouldn't have taken him. It's not the player, it's the decision. And if somebody wanted to come up and get him, and you could have traded back a little bit and made your team fuller, I would have done that. If you think you're ready to win now, which I think they are, in that division, you should be. And you spent all that money on Kirk Cousins. That tells me you're ready to win. I mean, you could have brought in Joe Flacco if you wanted to for another year. Yeah, Paul.
You're right about Penix. In the moment, I wonder if he thought about Kirk Cousins. I know you're so excited to be drafted. All the families around you. You're becoming a millionaire. But I wonder if, like 3 minutes later, after he sits with his agent, he goes, "You know, I might have to sit for 2 years if all goes well." There's nothing you could do. You can't complain. You can't voice your opinion.
Yeah, he can't go, you know what? I don't want to go to Atlanta.
Right. Everybody wants to play. I'm sure, like when Phil Rivers was taken by the Chargers, I think he sat for 2 entire seasons. And he was a pretty high draft pick. And he was like a grown man. He was 22 years old. He sat for 2 years. I'm sure he hated it. It was great for his career, but in the moment, you must hate it.
Yeah, I don't get the philosophy or logic there.